2026 Suzuki Intruder M1800R is a torque monster that destroys normal cruisers. The 2026 Suzuki Intruder M1800R is not just another cruiser returning to the spotlight. It is a statement of raw power, aggressive engineering, and unapologetic muscle that challenges everything riders think they know about big displacement motorcycles. Suzuki has taken one of its most legendary power cruisers and pushed it into a new era, delivering a machine that looks intimidating at a standstill and feels downright ferocious once the throttle is twisted. This is not a bike built to blend in. It is built to dominate highways, turn heads at every stoplight, and remind the world that Suzuki still knows how to build brutal V-twin monsters. At the heart of the 2026 Intruder M1800R is its massive 1,783cc V-twin engine, a power plant that has always been known for its overwhelming torque and explosive acceleration. This engine is designed to deliver instant response, pulling hard from low RPMs and continuing to surge forward with relentless force. Every throttle input feels deliberate and aggressive, making the rider feel connected to a machine that prioritizes strength over subtlety. This is the kind of motorcycle that does not ask permission, it simply takes over the road. What truly separates the Intruder M1800R from ordinary cruisers is the way it blends muscle bike performance with cruiser comfort. While many large cruisers focus purely on relaxed riding, the Intruder delivers a far more aggressive riding experience. The long wheelbase, low seat height, and wide rear tire give it a planted, confident stance that feels stable at high speeds and surprisingly capable through sweeping corners. This is a cruiser built for riders who want excitement, not just aesthetics. Suzuki's design language for the 2026 model reinforces the Intruder's intimidating personality. The sculpted fuel tank, muscular bodywork, and minimalist rear section give the bike a powerful silhouette that looks more like a street fighter than a traditional cruiser. Every line feels intentional, every surface designed to communicate strength and motion, even when the bike is parked. It is a design that appeals to riders who want their motorcycle to look as aggressive as it performs. Performance is not just about speed, and Suzuki understands that controlling this much power requires serious hardware. The suspension setup on the Intruder M1800R is tuned to handle aggressive riding while still providing enough comfort for long highway stretches. The front inverted forks and rear shock work together to keep the bike stable under hard acceleration and braking, giving riders confidence when pushing the limits of this heavyweight cruiser. Braking performance is another area where the Intruder proves it means business. Equipped with powerful disc brakes front and rear, the 2026 model delivers strong, predictable stopping power that matches its engine's performance. When riding a motorcycle with this much torque and speed potential, braking confidence is not optional. It is essential. Suzuki has ensured that the Intruder can slow down just as aggressively as it accelerates. The riding experience of the Intruder M1800R is defined by its personality. This is not a refined, polite cruiser designed to be easy for everyone. It is bold, demanding, and rewarding for riders who respect its power. The exhaust note alone announces its presence long before it comes into view, delivering a deep, authoritative sound that perfectly matches its muscular character. Riding this bike is less about casual cruising and more about making a statement on every ride. BMW just went too far. The 2026 K 1600B is a monster, the most dangerous touring bagger BMW has ever built. If you thought BMW was done making power moves in the touring world, think again, because the 2026 BMW K 1600B has arrived, and it's already sending shockwaves through the entire motorcycle industry. This isn't just another bagger with a fresh badge and a price hike. This is BMW coming back with a vengeance. Riders are calling it aggressive, intimidating, and borderline unfair, because what BMW just unleashed feels less like a motorcycle and more like a precision-engineered weapon designed to dominate highways. If you blink, you'll miss just how serious this machine really is. The first thing you notice is the attitude. The K1600B doesn't ask for attention, it demands it. That slammed bagger profile, stretched lines, and menacing front end make it look like it's moving fast even when it's standing still. BMW didn't design this bike to blend in. They designed it to stare down every other touring bagger on the road and win the intimidation contest before the engine even fires up. This thing looks expensive, aggressive, and unapologetically German, and that's exactly the point. Then you hit the start button, and everything changes. The legendary inline-six engine wakes up with a smoothness that feels almost unnatural. No vibration, no drama, just pure, refined mechanical authority. But don't let that smoothness fool you. This engine pulls hard, relentlessly, and with a ferocity that catches riders off guard. Twist the throttle, and the K1600B lunges forward like it weighs half as much as it does. It's fast, it's composed, and it's shockingly addictive. BMW didn't stop at raw power. They went all in on intelligence. The 2026 K1600B is loaded with electronics that feel less like rider aids and more like an invisible co-pilot. Adaptive ride modes, next-generation traction control, and cornering systems all work together to keep the bike planted and confident no matter what you throw at it. The suspension automatically adjusts in real time, soaking up rough pavement while still delivering razor-sharp stability at speed. It's the kind of tech that makes you ride harder because you trust the machine completely. And then there's the handling. This is where things get truly ridiculous. For a bike this long, this heavy, and this imposing, the K1600B handles like it's breaking the laws of physics. The low center of gravity and perfectly balanced chassis make slow-speed maneuvers feel effortless, while high-speed cornering feels shockingly precise. Riders stepping off other baggers are stunned by how confidently this thing dives into turns. It doesn't fight you. It follows your every command. 2026 Harley-Davidson Softail Standard Shocks. Everyone, is this the last real Harley? The 2026 Harley-Davidson Softail Standard is not just another motorcycle rolling off an assembly line. It's a declaration of war against everything modern motorcycling has become. In an era where bikes are buried under touchscreens, ride modes, traction control menus, and electronic safety nets, Harley-Davidson did something bold, almost rebellious. They looked at the industry and said, "No, let's take it back." The Softail Standard isn't chasing trends, and it's definitely not trying to impress spec sheet warriors. It exists for riders who crave raw metal, mechanical truth, and a riding experience that still feels dangerous enough to matter. This motorcycle doesn't whisper. It doesn't apologize. It doesn't ask for validation. The moment you see it, you know exactly what it's about. Clean lines, blacked out hardware, a stance that feels aggressive even when it's standing still. This bike doesn't need chrome jewelry or futuristic styling to look tough. It wears its toughness like a clenched fist. The 2026 Softail Standard feels like Harley-Davidson remembering who they are, and more importantly, remembering who they build bikes for. At the heart of this machine is the Milwaukee 8107 V-twin, and let's be clear, this engine is the soul of the bike. This isn't about peak horsepower bragging rights. This engine is built for torque, for feel, for that unmistakable low-end punch that hits you right in the chest the moment you crack the throttle. When you twist your wrist, you don't just move forward, you announce yourself to the world. The sound alone is enough to send chills down your spine. That deep, uneven rumble isn't noise. It's a signature, a warning, and a reminder that you're riding something alive. Every traffic light becomes a stage. Every highway on-ramp feels like a moment of controlled chaos. The Milwaukee 8107 doesn't rush, it surges. It delivers power in a way that feels deliberate, confident, and almost intimidating. This engine doesn't beg you to ride fast, it dares you to respect it. And that's exactly what longtime Harley riders love about it. It's not trying to be refined, it's trying to be real. What truly makes the 2026 Softail Standard dangerous, not just to competitors, but to Harley's own lineup, is its stripped-down design philosophy. No fairings to hide behind. No massive saddlebags weighing it down. No touring comforts pretending this is something it's not. This bike is honest to a fault. What you see is what you get, and what you get is a perfectly balanced cruiser silhouette that looks just as brutal parked outside a bar as it does hammering down an empty stretch of highway at sunset. The blacked-out finishes give it an almost sinister presence. The classic round headlamp anchors the front end in tradition, while the minimalist bodywork screams custom bike attitude straight from the factory. This looks like a bike someone spent years building in their garage, but it rolled out of the dealership like this. And that's exactly why it hits so hard. Harley didn't overthink it. They didn't overdesign it. They just got it right. One of the biggest visual tricks Harley-Davidson pulls off with the softail platform is the hidden rear suspension, and on the 2026 softail standard, it's pure magic. At first glance, the bike looks rigid, like something straight out of the old-school chopper era. But once you're on the road, the illusion fades and the engineering shines. The rear suspension absorbs bumps, smooths out rough pavement, and keeps the ride composed without killing the raw feel riders crave. This is where old-school aesthetics meet modern engineering in the best possible way. You get the visual aggression of a hardtail without the punishment. You get comfort without softness. Harley's softail chassis proves that you don't have to choose between style and ride quality, and that balance is exactly why this bike is pulling attention away from machines that cost thousands more. Then there's the riding experience itself, and this is where the 2026 softail standard really separates the riders from the spectators. The upright riding position puts you in control, not laid back like you're sitting on a couch. The mid-mounted controls demand engagement. The wide handlebars give you leverage, authority, and feedback. This bike talks to you through the bars, the pegs, and the seat. You feel the road. You feel the engine. You feel connected. This is not a motorcycle designed to isolate you from the ride. It's designed to pull you deeper into it. Every corner feels intentional. Every shift feels earned. Even a quick ride to the gas station turns into an experience. This is the kind of bike that makes you take the long way home, for no reason other than you don't want the ride to end. And here's where the softail standard becomes a true sleeper hit. Customization. This bike is a blank canvas in the purest sense. Harley-Davidson didn't overstyle it because they expect you to finish the job. Bobber build? Easy. Club-style performance cruiser? Absolutely. Old-school chopper vibes? It's practically begging for it. The aftermarket support is massive, and the platform welcomes personalization like few modern bikes can. Stop scrolling! The 2026 Suzuki Intruder C1500T is not just another cruiser. It's Suzuki's bold statement that the heavyweight touring war is far from over. In a market dominated by familiar names, Suzuki quietly unleashes a machine that blends old-school muscle with modern touring ambition. Bigger presence, deeper rumble, and a road-commanding stance make this bike impossible to ignore. If you thought cruisers were getting boring, think again. The heart of the Intruder C1500T is pure American-style muscle with Japanese precision. That massive V-twin isn't here to impress spec sheets. It's built to deliver raw, effortless torque that launches you forward with a single twist of the throttle. Whether you're rolling through city streets or devouring endless highways, this engine promises a ride that feels powerful, smooth, and addictively satisfying every single mile. What truly shocks riders is how comfortable this beast is. Suzuki didn't just design a cruiser, they engineered a long-distance weapon. The wide handlebars, plush touring seat, and perfectly positioned footboard scream cross-country confidence. Hours in the saddle feel like minutes, making this bike a dangerous temptation for riders who swear they'll just go for a short ride. The 2026 Intruder C1500T also looks absolutely menacing. From the aggressive front fairing to the hard-touring saddlebags, every angle radiates dominance. This isn't a bike that blends into traffic. It owns the road. park it anywhere, and people will stop, stare, and ask questions. Suzuki clearly knew looks matter, and they delivered big time. Highway performance is where this cruiser quietly humiliates the competition. The Intruder C1500T cruises effortlessly at high speeds, soaking up wind and road imperfections like a luxury tourer. Passing power is instant, smooth, and confident. No downshifting drama, no hesitation. Just pure, unstoppable forward motion that makes long rides feel effortless. Suzuki's attention to detail in 2026 is impossible to ignore. From refined throttle response to improved ride stability, everything feels tighter, smarter, and more polished. This bike doesn't just feel powerful, it feels controlled. Riders get the confidence of a heavyweight cruiser without the intimidation factor that often scares people away from big touring bikes. And let's talk value, because this is where things get really interesting. Suzuki has a reputation for delivering premium performance without premium prices, and the Intruder C1500T continues that tradition. You get touring capability, cruiser attitude, and long-haul comfort without selling your soul or your house to afford it. The 2026 Intruder C1500T is sending a clear message to Honda Goldwing fans, Yamaha V-Star loyalists, and Kawasaki Voyager riders. There's a new heavyweight worth watching. It may not shout for attention, but once you ride it, the competition suddenly feels very nervous. 2026 Kawasaki Vulcan 1700 Voyager ABS, the touring cruiser that shocks the industry. The 2026 Kawasaki Vulcan 1700 Voyager ABS is not just another touring motorcycle. It's a bold statement that Kawasaki is done playing it safe. From the moment this beast rolls into view, it demands attention with its muscular stance, full touring fairing, and unmistakable cruiser DNA. Riders everywhere are asking the same question: did Kawasaki just redefine luxury touring for 2026? The answer may surprise you, because this machine blends classic American-style touring with Japanese engineering precision in a way that feels almost unfair to its competitors. At the heart of the 2026 Vulcan 1700 Voyager ABS lies a massive 1.700cc V-twin engine that delivers relentless torque where it matters most. This isn't about chasing high RPMs. It's about effortless power that pulls hard from low revs, whether you're cruising highways or overtaking traffic with confidence. Kawasaki has refined the throttle response to feel smoother, stronger, and more controlled, making long-distance riding feel almost addictive. One twist of the throttle and you'll understand why this engine is the soul of the Voyager. What truly elevates the 2026 Voyager ABS is its long-distance comfort that feels engineered for riders who refuse to compromise. The wide, deeply cushioned seat, relaxed riding position, and generous floorboards are designed to keep fatigue away even after hours on the road. Kawasaki didn't just think about the rider. They thought about the passenger too, with a plush rear seat and supportive backrest that turns every trip into a shared adventure. This is a motorcycle built for crossing borders, not just city limits. Let's talk technology, because this is where the 2026 Vulcan 1700 Voyager ABS quietly dominates. The advanced ABS system works seamlessly with the powerful braking setup, giving riders confidence in sudden stops or unpredictable road conditions. Kawasaki's tuning ensures the ABS feels natural, not intrusive, allowing you to stay in control without sacrificing braking power. Whether riding in rain-soaked highways or emergency situations, this system proves that safety and excitement can coexist. The iconic Batwing-style fairing on the 2026 Voyager ABS isn't just for looks, it's a wind-cheating masterpiece. Designed to reduce rider fatigue, It channels airflow smoothly around the rider, making high-speed cruising remarkably calm. Add in the large windshield and integrated mirrors, and you get a touring experience that feels refined and intentional. This is the kind of fairing that makes you realize how exhausting poor wind protection can be until you ride the Voyager. Storage is another area where the 2026 Vulcan 1700 Voyager ABS flexes its touring credentials. With hard saddlebags and a rear trunk designed for real-world travel, this bike is ready for multi-day adventures without compromise. Helmets, gear, luggage, it all fits with ease. Kawasaki understands that touring riders don't want to choose between style and practicality, and the Voyager proves you can have both without apology. Visually, the 2026 Voyager ABS strikes a perfect balance between timeless cruiser elegance and modern aggression. The chrome accents, bold paint options, and clean lines give it a premium presence that looks just as good parked as it does rolling down the highway. This is a motorcycle that turns heads at fuel stops and sparks conversations everywhere it goes. People don't just look at it, they stare. This bike should be illegal. 2026 Ducati Panigale V4S destroys everything. The 2026 Ducati Panigale V4S has officially arrived, and it's already being whispered about as the most extreme production superbike Ducati has ever dared to release. This is not an evolution meant to quietly replace the previous model. This is a full-blown declaration of dominance. From the very first glance, it's obvious this machine was built with one mission in mind: to erase the line between MotoGP fantasy and street-legal reality. Ducati didn't just refine performance numbers or tweak styling details. They rebuilt the entire experience around speed, aggression, and total rider immersion. If you've ever wondered what it feels like to sit on the cutting edge of motorcycle engineering, this bike is the answer. And once you hear it scream, once you see it launch, once you feel how violently it accelerates, there's no going back. Everything about the 2026 Panigale V4S feels sharper, tighter, and more purposeful than ever before. The design alone tells a story of obsession. Every line carved by airflow, every surface shaped to control turbulence, heat, and downforce at extreme speeds. Ducati's engineers pushed aerodynamic efficiency to the next level, using lessons learned directly from their racing programs to create a motorcycle that doesn't just cut through the air, but actively uses it to stay planted and stable when the speedometer climbs into terrifying territory. Even at a standstill, the bike looks like it's moving, like it's straining against gravity, waiting for permission to attack the asphalt. This is the kind of design that makes people stop mid-conversation, pull out their phones, and just stare. Underneath that aggressive bodywork lies the heart of the beast, a V4 engine that feels more like a controlled explosion than a mechanical component. The power delivery is brutal yet precise, delivering instant throttle response that feels directly wired to your nervous system. Twist the throttle and the bike doesn't hesitate, doesn't question your intent. It simply obeys, launching forward with an urgency that can take your breath away. Ducati has refined the power band to make the bike even more usable, while somehow making it even more ferocious. A balance that sounds impossible until you experience it. This is the kind of acceleration that ruins other motorcycles for you, because once you've felt it, everything else feels muted and slow by comparison. This 2026 Indian Scout Bobber is absolutely insane. Harley fans won't like this fearful face. Listen up, riders, thrill seekers, and gearheads around the world. The 2026 Indian Scout Bobber has just dropped, and what it's packing is absurd. If you thought cruiser bikes were all tired old classics with more nostalgia than performance, think again. This beast roars with a liquid-cooled 1,250 cc V-twin that churns out a mind-blowing 105 horsepower and 82 feet lbs of torque, throwing out power curves like a Sportster with cruiser looks. This is the kind of motorcycle that doesn't just turn heads, it turns the entire block upside down the moment you fire up that engine. This is not your grandpa's cruiser. Right out of the gate, let's get one thing straight. The 2026 Scout Bobber is mean. It's blacked out from nose to tail, with chop bobber fenders and that signature headlight nacelle that screams attitude. The low-slung solo seat and slammed suspension give it a stance so aggressive, you'll feel like you're gripping a performance cruiser that's ready to bite pavement at any moment. With a seat height as low as approximately 25.6 inches and wheelbase engineered for razor-sharp stability, this bike is crafted for riders who want style and gnarly road presence. This isn't a bike you meekly cruise around town with. It's a war machine on wheels. That 1,250cc engine isn't just big on paper. It delivers brutal real-world performance that shocks every rider who dares twist that throttle. With that muscular V-twin delivering power across every gear and a transmission that feels alive under your boot, acceleration on the Scout Bobber is less smooth cruise and more, hold on cowboy. And while we're talking raw energy, remember, those dual Pirelli MT60 RS tires grip like they're glued to the road, making corner exits feel like controlled explosions of rubber and torque. Let's talk looks, because looks matter on this bike. The Scout Bobber's silhouette is a masterpiece of minimalism and aggression. Every inch of blacked-out metal and every slice of chrome detail is crafted to embody that iconic bobber aesthetic people drool over. You've got 16-inch cast, 8-spoke wheels wrapped in aggressive tires, an uncompromising solo seat that whispers, badass, and that sleek exhaust pipe that dares you to hear it from a mile away. When this bike rolls up next to anything else on the road, it owns the visual scene. Technology that makes it legendary. Hold up, you think a bobber can't be tech-savvy? The 2026 Scout Bobber laughs in the face of that stereotype. Depending on the trim you choose, you get access to traction control, selectable ride modes, cruise control, USB charging, and even the flagship Ride Command touchscreen with GPS navigation on limited plus tech variants. That's right, this bad boy can navigate while you rip down the highway, letting you tailor throttle response and ride feel based on your mood, your route, or your need for pure unfiltered performance. This isn't tech for the sake of flash, it's tech that lets you dominate every ride. Some people say bobbers are uncomfortable. Well, those people clearly haven't tried the 2026 Indian Scout Bobber. The seat is low and confidence-inspiring, the handling is balanced even at low speeds, and even though it looks like it came straight out of a post-apocalyptic dream, it's surprisingly civilized enough for everyday rides. Sure, it's not a touring cruiser that lulls you into a nap, but it keeps you connected to the road in a way that riders who've been around the block a few times absolutely love. This bike feels alive under you, like it's begging you to unleash its full potential instead of holding back. 2026 Yamaha Star Eluder is back, and Harley riders won't like this. The 2026 Yamaha Star Eluder isn't just back, it's back with something to prove. In a world dominated by heavyweight American touring giants, Yamaha has rolled the dice and fired a direct shot across the bow of the entire V-twin touring segment. This isn't a polite comeback, this is Yamaha saying, "You forgot about us and that was a mistake." The Star Eluder is here to challenge assumptions, shake loyalties, and remind riders that performance touring doesn't belong to just one badge. From the very first glance, the 2026 Star Eluder looks like a machine built for domination. Long, low, muscular, and unapologetically aggressive, it carries the DNA of a true transcontinental cruiser, but with sharper edges and a more modern presence. The Batwing-style fairing slices through the air with purpose, the integrated hard saddlebags sit wide and confident, and the overall stance screams stability at speed. This is not a bike that asks permission. It takes the road. At the heart of the Star Eluder beats Yamaha's massive V-twin powerhouse, engineered for relentless torque and effortless highway authority. Twist the throttle and the bike doesn't surge. It pulls, smoothly and endlessly, like a freight train that never runs out of steam. This engine isn't about drama for drama's sake. It's about controlled power, refined delivery, and long-distance reliability that Yamaha riders swear by. Mile after mile, it just keeps going. What truly separates the 2026 Star Eluder from its rivals is how civilized it feels without losing its muscle. While other touring bikes shake, rumble, and vibrate their way down the highway, the Eluder glides. Yamaha's engineering philosophy shines here, balanced, precise, and brutally efficient. At cruising speed, the engine hums instead of shouts, letting you ride longer, farther, and more comfortably than you thought possible on a V-twin tourer. Comfort is where the Star Eluder quietly destroys the competition. The seating position is perfectly dialed for all-day rides, with generous padding and ergonomic support that doesn't punish your lower back after a few hours. The floorboards are wide, the bars fall naturally into your hands, and the wind protection keeps fatigue at bay even at highway speeds. This bike doesn't just take you across states, it makes you want to keep going. And then there's the technology. Yamaha didn't overload the 2026 Eluder with gimmicks, but they gave it exactly what touring riders actually use. A crisp infotainment display, intuitive controls, integrated navigation, and rider-focused connectivity all blend seamlessly into the cockpit. Everything is easy to reach, easy to understand, and designed to work while riding, not distract from it. This is technology done the Yamaha way, purposeful, clean, and reliable. The suspension setup deserves its own spotlight. Tuned for stability and comfort, the Star Eluder soaks up broken pavement, expansion joints, and long stretches of imperfect road without losing composure. Whether you're carving gentle sweepers or cruising arrow-straight highways, the bike stays planted and predictable. For a machine of this size, the confidence it inspires is borderline shocking. Harley just shocked everyone. The 2026 Road Glide 3 is a monster. If you think you know Harley-Davidson, think again, because the motorcycle world has just been set on fire. The 2026 Harley-Davidson Road Glide 3 is here, and it's not just a new model, it's a game changer. Riders everywhere are calling this the most shocking release of the year, the motorcycle that might redefine what a cruiser can actually be. If you're ready for raw power, cutting-edge tech, and a ride experience that feels like the future but rumbles like the past, buckle up, because this machine doesn't play by the rules. From the moment you glimpse its silhouette, the 2026 Road Glide 3 screams dominance. This isn't your average touring bike, it's a beast, wrapped in attitude, and built to devour open highways like a storm with wheels. Harley didn't just tweak the design, they unleashed a visual statement that sends a message to every other manufacturer. We're back, and we mean business. This bike isn't just bold, it's downright frightening in its presence. Underneath that iconic frame lies an engine that isn't just powerful, it's earth-shaking. The revamped Milwaukee 8 powertrain on the Road Glide 3 doesn't just deliver torque, it annihilates it. Riders have reported acceleration so violent, it makes their hearts skip, and mid-range punch that feels like a punch straight to the soul. This thing doesn't move, it launches. And once you've felt that surge, there's no going back. But Harley didn't stop at brute force. Oh no, because this year's Road Glide 3 comes loaded with electronics and tech that make other bikes look outdated. We're talking an updated infotainment system that responds faster than ever, integrated ride modes that adapt to every road condition, and assist systems that elevate safety without stealing any of the raw riding thrill. This is where classic Harley soul meets modern intelligence, and riders are buzzing about it. And then there's the way this machine handles. The 2026 Road Glide 3 feels alive under you, balanced, hungry, and precise. Whether you're carving tight mountain turns or screaming down the interstate, this bike sticks to the road like it's welded there. The suspension, the chassis, the steering, everything works in harmony to make you feel like you're not just riding a motorcycle, but commanding a living legend. Comfort? Harley didn't just check that box, they reinvented it. Long rides that used to wear you down now feel smooth, confident, and effortless. The seats cradle you like they were molded just for your body, the wind protection feels sculpted for absolute serenity, and even vibrations have been tamed without losing that signature Harley roar. This is luxury, Harley style. But here's where it gets really wild. There are whispers among early reviewers that Harley dropped a few hidden upgrades, things they didn't even highlight in the official announcement. Performance tweaks, ergonomic refinements, tech enhancements that only reveal themselves when you're miles into a ride. It's like Harley intentionally kept these as secrets, and when riders discovered them, jaws hit the floor. Now let's talk about the experience. Because riding the 2026 Road Glide 3 isn't just a ride, it's a transformation. Riders are saying that this machine has the magic to make every journey feel larger than life, like you're not just crossing miles, you're conquering them. Whether it's a quick blast down your favorite twisties or a cross-country pilgrimage, this bike turns ordinary roads into unforgettable adventures. The 2026 Honda Goldwing GL 1800 DCT airbag is so advanced, it's actually scary. If you thought the motorcycle world couldn't possibly be shaken again after the last few years of tech breakthroughs, think again, because Honda just flipped the entire industry upside down. The 2026 Honda Goldwing DCT hasn't merely arrived, it has detonated onto the scene like a full-blown touring bike supernova. And if you haven't heard the rumors swirling around it yet, brace yourself, because what Honda just revealed doesn't feel like a model update. It feels like the moment every other manufacturer started sweating. Riders everywhere are calling it a technological shockwave, a touring revolution, and even a direct challenge to every bike that dares call itself luxurious. This is not your average Goldwing refresh. This is Honda throwing down the gauntlet. While most brands would be thrilled to sprinkle in a few new buttons and slap on bold new graphics, Honda clearly woke up and chose chaos. They went deeper than anyone expected. Way deeper. Beneath the polished fairings and iconic silhouette lies a fundamental overhaul of how a touring motorcycle should feel, respond, and think. Yes, think. Because the updated DCT doesn't just shift smoothly, it shifts with a level of anticipatory precision, so uncanny that early testers have joked it must be reading the rider's mind. The new aerodynamic structure slices through turbulent air like a scalpel, eliminating buffeting at highway speeds and making the bike feel almost magnetically stable. And then there's the cockpit, completely redesigned, dripping with luxury, and armed with a digital intelligence system that feels like it was stolen from the future. But here's where things get wild. Honda didn't brag about everything they upgraded. In fact, some of the biggest improvements were quietly slipped in. No teaser campaigns, no loud marketing blasts, just hidden engineering flexes waiting to be discovered by the first riders lucky enough to touch the 2026 model. Beneath the surface, the legendary six-cylinder engine has been massaged with a subtle but meaningful power bump. The torque curve feels fuller, the delivery smoother, the acceleration more confident. And then Honda unleashed the real curveball, a fully adaptive riding system that automatically adjusts suspension, damping, and handling characteristics not just to road conditions but to speed, riding mode, and even the exact weight of the bike's load. That's not just next level, that's luxury SUV territory on two wheels. And if you think all this tech means Honda forgot about comfort, think again, because this is the part that has riders borderline speechless. The 2026 Goldwing doesn't just improve comfort, it obliterates every previous standard. The redesigned seat feels like a custom-molded throne. The ergonomics were recalculated to reduce fatigue to practically zero. Wind deflection is tuned so precisely that riders are reporting quieter helmets at 75 miles per hour than some get sitting still in their driveway. Heat management has been re-engineered so thoroughly that hot weather touring suddenly feels like cheating. Some early reviewers didn't even call it a motorcycle. They called it a rolling luxury suite. Long-distance riders have always loved the Goldwing, but the 2026 edition might be the first one that makes 500-mile days feel like warm-up laps. It's not just comfortable, it's outrageously, suspiciously, almost comically comfortable. The kind of comfort that makes you double-check that you're not secretly riding an electric recliner disguised as a motorcycle. Honda didn't just refine the ride, they reinvented the entire long-distance touring experience from the ground up. The bike practically erases fatigue before it can begin, making cross-country travel feel less like a challenge and more like a privilege.